Hello everybody, thank you very much for joining me for another Twilight Zone review in my Twilight Zone ranking video series. Today I'm going to be talking about number 152 on the list, The Mirror, a Season 3 episode written by Rod Serling and directed by Don Medford. And as always, there will be episode spoilers. So, I've never been a big fan of this one, The Mirror, and unfortunately on a rewatch, I'm still not a big fan of it. So the basic plot of this one is a revolutionary takes over basically part of a country, a whole country, I'm not sure to be honest, and this mirror tells him basically who his enemies are, which wind up being his own men. So, this is kind of an interesting idea, and I will say right off, I give this episode a slight benefit of the doubt, because I do respect that Twilight Zone tried to tackle serious social issues like this at the time. 60s TV was not really known for this. It was more just kind of light fluff, which is perfectly fine. But I do credit Twilight Zone at least being daring in that regard. Unfortunately, I don't think the execution of this episode is very good. So it's just very predictable and repetitive and makes it kind of boring. Peter Falk, an excellent actor. I love Columbo, and he's done a lot of good film work as well. But he just kind of rants and raves through this episode. His performance is overdone, in my opinion. Again, like I've said before, I don't know if the director, Don Medford, is to blame or if Falk is to blame. So, I'm not really sure there. But the performance just doesn't work for me. The fake looking beards don't really help much either. The character just feels more like a caricature, if that makes sense, than it does a real person. This is one of those episodes where it feels like Rod Serling was more interested in the moral than making the episode interesting in any way. And, basically all that happens is through the whole episode, he keeps seeing the men under him in the mirror, and then he gets rid of them, and then it kind of just repeats over and over and over. There is a little bit of tension in the episode, and the cinematography is good. There are some things I like, but the episode's just so preachy and obvious in its message. And then the ending twist doesn't really work for me either. Like, he talks, of course, to a religious figure, and then he just kind of gives up and does himself in, and it doesn't really seem to fit the character. It just seems to kind of be a contrived ending to make a point. Again, I know there's fans of this episode, like all Twilight Zones, but for me, it just doesn't really work, which is a shame because I think the message is an important one, about, how you should act when you get power. Be careful you're not like the leader before you. There's all kinds of good messages here. Like I said, I just think the episode kind of falls flat. It's just too preachy, but it is a well-shot episode, and I appreciate the attempt to take on social issues of the time. But this one just comes off to me as just dated, preachy, and repetitive. So, The Mirror comes in at 152 on the list. As always, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any comments about this episode, if I rated it too low, or if you think I got this one right. Coming up next will be 151. Thanks for watching.